All right, so the last couple questions. A golf ball leaves a club with an initial velocity of 40 meters per second, an angle of 40 degrees. All right, what is the vertical component of the golf ball's initial velocity? So, again, this is just the vertical component. We know that vertical component, AY equals A sine of theta. So we're just going to plug in A, which was 40, sine of 40 degrees. And that's going to be 25.7. What is the total horizontal distance traveled by the golf ball during the first 2.5 seconds of its flight? So if we want to find the horizontal distance traveled, first we'll need to know the horizontal component of its velocity. Oh, excuse me, this is AX equals A cosine of theta. All right. A times the cosine is going to be 40 times cosine of 40. So we're going to get AX to be equal to 30.6. All right. So this is going to be our VIX equals 30.6. Now we know that the VFX is also going to be the same. This never changes. That's because the AX is equal to 0. In this case, DX, that's what we're looking for. And they've given us a time which was equal to 2.5 seconds. So we have a formula to solve for D. So we can use D equals VIT plus 1/2 AT squared. Right, in this case, since A is 0, 0 times 2.5 squared times a half, it's just going to be 0. So this whole chunk is just going to drop off. So really you just got to look at this here, D equals VIT, when we're talking about the horizontal direction. So D equals 30.6 times 2.5 plus the 0 chunk. So 30.6 times 2.5 is equal to 76 plus 0. So in the end, our horizontal distance is 76 meters. All right, 25. How long will it take an object to move 100 meters if the object is traveling with an average speed of 0.5 meters per second? So when you see this right here, average speed, you need to use your average speed formula from your reference table. Right? This is not a constant acceleration equation. This is average speed. Speed equals distance divided by time. Right? They've given us that the object has an average speed of 0.5 meters per second. So that's 0.5 is equal to distance, which is 100 meters over time. Okay, you guys can cross multiply, but in the end you're going to get that t is equal to 100 divided by 0.5, which is equal to 200. All right, let's take a look at 26. On a highway, a car is driven 80 kilometers during the first hour. All right, there we go. I lost my pen for a second. So it goes 80 kilometers in the first hour. Then it travels 50 kilometers in the next 0.5 hours. And then finally another 40 kilometers in the last 0.5 hours. What is the average speed? So you see average speed. You know that this is not one of those constant acceleration problems. So we need to look at speed equals distance over time. Our distance is the 80 plus the 50 plus the 40. And our time is 1 plus 0.5 plus 0.5. So this is going to be 9170 divided by 2, which is 85. What is this? km per hour. All right, let's look at the last two questions. A hiker walks 5 kilometers due north and then 77 kilometers due east. What's the magnitude of the resultant displacement? So that's pretty poor for due north, but it'll have to do. So 5.00 north and then 7 kilometers due east. 7.00. What's the magnitude of the resultant displacement? So the resultant displacement is from start to finish. That's how we find displacement. So if I want to find how long this vector is, it's going to be a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's Pythagorean theorem. So we have 5.00 squared plus 7.00 squared equals, we'll call it c squared. So if we add this together, we're going to get 74. Ignore that. So it's 74 equals c squared. Take the square root of each side. And I'm getting 8.60. And this is a distance, so this is 8.60 kilometers. And what's the total distance she traveled? So remember, distance is different from displacement. Distance is how far they traveled in total. So its distance was 5 kilometers and then 7 kilometers. So it's just 5 plus 7. So the total was 12 kilometers. All right, guys. Study this stuff. Make sure you also study basic units. Everything from the start of the year can be on the quarterly test. So good luck.